Hello and welcome. My name is Daina Moore. I'm the Senior Vice President of Risk Management and Compliance for the Greater San Diego Association of Realtors and the San Diego MLS. I'm very pleased to be speaking with Marquez, a top producer with Pacific Sotheby's and past SDAR President. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Daina. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to talk today with our agents about taking a new listing, the life cycle of that, and the new clear cooperation policy. So can you kind of take us through the step-by-step of when you very first have that listing appointment and what goes on from there?
Yeah, thank you. We want to take a moment and help the agent in the field understand how the clear cooperation policy applies to them through the various benchmarks that we see in every listing. So as a listing agent, we're very excited when we have that opportunity to win the listing. And so let's look at some examples. So we've sat down with the seller, we've got a fully executed listing agreement. There's a decision to be made right then. What is my timing? When is this listing going on the market? And as it applies to the policy. So for example, we take the listing today and we know that the house is ready to go on the market right away, or the seller instructs us like, let's get it on tomorrow, or let's get it on within 48 hours. So under the current policy, you have 48 hours to input the listing from the moment you've signed a listing agreement with the seller. So that would be a very traditional listing experience. Pretty straightforward, no pitfall there. The second scenario would be, hey, I need 2 weeks to prepare the house, get staging in order, take photography, do the prep that I like to do for my listings. And in that scenario, you would then also have the seller complete, along with the listing agreement, the seller exclusion form. Can you tell us a little bit more about that form as a reminder, Daina?
Absolutely. So the authorization to exclude form is available on sdmls.com under the Rules tab. We've added clear cooperation language to that form, so it explains to the seller what the clear cooperation policy is, in that they are signing off that that listing will not be publicly marketed. And you have the same 48 hours to get that over to rules@sdmls.com.
Right, and check with your broker. If you're not familiar with the use of that form, you should be very familiar with it, because it is a mandatory form when you're going to not put the property in the MLS within that first 48 hours. So check with your broker too if you have any questions. So moving forward, as every listing agent knows, they get very excited the minute they get a new listing, especially when it's in that one neighborhood that you're dying to win a listing in. And so the temptation is take a snapshot, post it in our social media, and put it out there to the world that I have this great listing coming on board. Well, in theory, it sounds innocent, but the fact is the minute that we have exposed that listing to the public via our social media, that's one example of how we're in violation of the clear cooperation policy going forward. And this applies to all MLSs. This is not just something that's our MLS. So also understand that the minute you've posted that photo on your social media, you're now putting that listing out there to the public. Very different than if you're just doing it to your own brokerage. You'll also find that your own brokerage will have a holding inventory. A lot of brokers have an internal database of listings that are coming online, and when that occurs, that's fine. There's no issue with that. And you can network amongst yourselves your listings. But the minute one of your colleagues or the broker even puts that out there on syndication or other various mediums that are to the public, they're now in violation of the policy. If it's just amongst the internal agents and brokers within that office, then you're absolutely fine. Any comments on that, Daina?
Yes, thank you. So once you do put it out on your social media or coming soon, then you are going to want to put that listing in the MLS within 1 business day. That excludes holidays and weekends, so that you will be in compliance. The goal is to keep you in compliance.
Thank you. And the other point I want to make too is the minute you've signed the seller exclusion form, you are in a coming soon status. The minute you're in violation, then you have an obligation to put it active. So the policy switches to a 24-hour, 1 business day to put the property active once you're in violation of these procedures. Any comment on that, Dan?
Yes, thank you. And we will be contacting listing agents and listing brokers if there is a listing reported to us that's been publicly marketed and it is not in the MLS. So we will be following up with warnings, and because the coming soon status is coming in the next couple of weeks for all Paragon users, no matter what MLS you subscribe to, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be using this as a grace period and a time to educate our members.
Great point. So know that there's a grace period right now so we can all practice to do the right thing. So another example of a listing agent in the field managing his listing or her listing would be you order the sign, right? It's one of the first activities we do. We're excited to put that coming soon sign, and under the coming soon status, that's okay. Where the pitfall will be is when you get a signed call, right? So a buyer is driving by, they've been waiting in that neighborhood for 2 years for a listing to come up. They call you, they're excited, they want to see that listing, you can't wait to get them in. But if that listing is not in the MLS yet, and you show that listing to a direct client call, then you would be in violation and have an obligation to put that listing in the MLS within 24 hours. Additionally, another scenario that's very common is you get a rival broker, right? Or another broker that's just from a competitor that says, hey, Agent X, I have a buyer that's been waiting forever. Will we be able to see that listing? And the proper answer would be, once it's in the MLS, everyone will be able to see the listing and show it and whatever those showing guidelines are. But if we've excluded that agent's ability to see that listing and you're still showing it to your own clients, you would be in violation of the clear cooperation policy. Any comments on that scenario, Daina?
Yes, you get that call of this interested all cash buyer and you put that listing in the MLS. Then you will be in compliance with coming soon, with clear cooperation, with everything. You'll make that listing an active listing and have the opportunity for there to be other offers made on the property.
Thank you. The other big scenario is a lot of folks participate in Zillow. One of the key features that Zillow promotes, for example, is the coming soon policy, is our coming soon platform. The coming soon platform once was a great tool. However, if you use the coming soon platform as provided by Zillow, you'll have an obligation to make sure that listing is in the MLS. There's no grace period for you to promote coming soon on Zillow, for example, prior to entry into the MLS. So know that key difference now. If you're using Zillow, please make sure you amend your practices to be in compliance with the policy. Any comments on third-party syndication?
When we bring coming soon to the Paragon system, those listings will stay within the MLS and will not be syndicated to third-party sites. So it does allow every MLS participant, including our reciprocating members, to see the listings in the MLS. And so you will have that exposure. It just will not be going to third-party sites until the listing switches from coming soon to active.
Yeah, great point, Daina. So the coming soon status will allow the whole MLS membership to see the coming soon inventory. The big difference is it's not being syndicated out to the public until it's gone active. Correct. So where some folks may see this as an encroachment on the exposure or their perceived encroachment on their pre-MLS marketing, the fact is you're getting the benefit of full MLS marketing internally to the membership only prior to entry into the MLS as active, which is still probably a key feature that's not occurring now. So I look forward to that and I hope you do too. Moving right along, in summary, look out for these pitfalls, ask your broker if you have a question, and all of this is to protect you because you can also be in breach of fair housing laws by excluding certain people from seeing the listing. So for example, it's not just excluding your competition, which a lot of us think that that's what's going on, but the fact is the minute you've excluded that broker from showing that multicultural buyer as an example, you risk fair housing laws. Fair housing laws are federal. You do not want to be that agent subject to a federal housing issue, and your broker certainly doesn't. So be compliant. I'm going to let Daina close and thank her for having me to help you share these ideas.
Oh, thank you, Mark. I think the agents are really going to appreciate this as it walks them through the transactions and their everyday business. For more questions and answers, you can find an FAQ on the home screen of Paragon. So you will find a link there. There may be some things we didn't cover today that are covered in the Q&A. Thank you for being with us, and thank you everybody for following the Clear Cooperation Policy. Thank you.
Thank you.